these measures are going to have a widespread impact. And I think the honest answer is people don't know the extent of the effects these are going to have. I mean, you've also got to look at what sort of effects are you looking at? Are we just looking at the economic effects? Are we also going to look at the social effects, at the mental health concerns these might raise amongst people, particularly people who are vulnerable or live alone or in small groups? And how do we get to a place where we don't have to be using these tools, which really can affect the social fabric of life and of our societies, and particularly thinking ahead, how can we make sure that Christmas isn't going to be with all of us in lockdown or some form of lockdown, and that we can at least meet our friends and family in the coming months.
And just very briefly for you, do you think that the key is getting those tests up and running? We're hearing more and more talk of those rapid response saliva tests. Will that be our door to freedom for the foreseeable future?
Well, yes and no. I think the only way we're going to get out of this is with a good test and trace and isolate system. I think that's been very clear from the evidence. However, I think it's not just about having the tests and being able to do those quickly, but it's also making sure that when you have been identified as having got it or been in contact with someone who has, that you do actually lock down. In the UK, for example, we know that 20% of people who are being asked to isolate aren't doing it, whether that's because they are bored of being in lockdown, or whether it's simply because they can't afford to, because they don't have secure employment. We need to really get to the bottom of that, because that could also expose a greater infection.